Have you ever felt that your home grows fuller every year, yet your sense of peace grows smaller? Your closet is packed, your online shopping cart always has something waiting to be checked out. We live surrounded by endless choices and constant invitations to buy. Buy to fill some kind of empty space, keep things we no longer use because we're afraid to feel wasteful. And then one day, we realize the house is overflowing. Yet inside, we feel tired and heavy. It's a burden that's hard to name, not loud, but quietly draining your energy and blurring what truly matters. Many people think minimalism simply means getting rid of things, but in Japan, minimalism is about clearing the excess so the essence becomes visible in your home, in your time, and in your relationships. Fewer items, but more room for calm and for the things you genuinely want to keep. In this video, we'll walk through 7 very everyday reasons why, when you begin to live minimally with a Japanese mindset, you don't just reduce clutter, you gain something greater: freedom, tranquility, and the feeling of living in alignment with yourself. If somewhere inside you're tired of feeling like you're carrying too much, stay with me. And now, let's begin from the closest place of all, the home you live in and the invisible tension it whispers into your body every single day. Reason 1: reducing cortisol and biological stress. Think back to a very ordinary evening, coming home after a long day, hands full of bags, your head full of deadlines. You turn on the light. The shoe rack is a bit messy, the dining table still has a few unopened bags, the sofa is covered with clothes to fold tomorrow. You think, the house is just a little cluttered, but your body doesn't think so. A study from UCLA shows that simply living in a cluttered space raises cortisol, the stress hormone, and keeps it elevated throughout the day. People don't always feel very stressed, but the body is like a wind chime, just a light breeze and it starts to tremble. Sometimes you've lived with that feeling for so long that you don't even notice it anymore. The common consequences are trouble focusing, irritability, and difficulty sleeping deeply. Stacks of papers, items to deal with tomorrow, a sink full of dishes, all create visual noise, forcing the brain to process more signals than necessary. It's not loud, but it drains your energy little by little. In Japanese minimalism, the home is seen as an intentional empty space. The Japanese call it ma, the space between two objects, between two rhythms of life, the place where the eyes can rest and the mind can breathe. When you step into a tidy room, light falling on an open floor, your body automatically relaxes, shoulders soften, and a breath deepens. No one tells you to unwind. The room itself says, it's okay, you're safe here. Minimalism isn't about throwing everything away. Minimalism is giving your body signals of safety. Fewer items, less noise, fewer things reminding you of unfinished tasks. When cortisol drops, you sleep more deeply, focus more easily, and become gentler with the people you love. Happiness doesn't always come from getting more. It often comes from removing what quietly exhausts you. You don't need to start with the whole house. The Japanese often begin by clearing small bottleneck points, the spots that annoy you every time you walk by. Maybe it's the bedside table covered with papers, or the sink area that's always for later. They tidy little by little, like tending a tiny garden, removing a bit, wiping it clean, leaving only what's necessary and beautiful. You can try it tonight. Choose a small corner that drains you every time you look at it. Set a 15-minute timer. Turn off notifications. Clean slowly while breathing gently, as if loosening knots within yourself. When you're done, stand for a few seconds and look at the new empty space you've created. That small feeling is your body saying thank you. Minimalist happiness doesn't arrive in a single day. It comes the moment you dare to create that first empty space. Reason 2: significantly improving mood and reducing anxiety. Is your morning something like this? The alarm rings. You reach for your phone on a messy bedside table, charging cables, papers, a few unpaid bills. You look around the room. Clothes draped over a chair, your desk covered in documents. Before getting out of bed, your mind already feels heavy with a to-do list you haven't even named yet. Scientists at the Princeton Neuroscience Institute point out that every cluttered item within sight competes for your attention. The more things there are, the more signals your brain must process, making you more prone to stress. A messy room isn't just aesthetically unpleasant. It's like a silent notification saying, you still have unfinished tasks. And no one feels at ease being reminded of that from morning till night. In Japanese minimalism, living space isn't just a place to store things. It's a place for the mind to rest. The Japanese cherish yohaku, the intentional emptiness, the white space on a page or in a room. That space allows the eyes to breathe and the mind to settle. A clean tabletop, light spilling over an uncluttered surface, all become a quiet reassurance. Today will be okay. You don't have to fight everything. A study on mindful dishwashing shows that doing even a small task with full presence reduces stress significantly. Tidying, when done in that state, stops being a tiring chore and becomes a ritual of washing away mental noise. You can start with a very small habit. Clear your desk or bedside table every night before sleeping. Not the whole room, just the table, the place you see first and last each day. Imagine this. Instead of a pile of papers and tangled cords, you see only an empty surface, a notebook, a pen, a small lamp. Like a minimalist stage that holds only what you truly need for tomorrow. At first, you may feel lazy or criticize yourself, but instead of blaming, treat each item returned to its place as an act of gentleness toward yourself. A shirt hung up is one less self-criticism waiting for you tomorrow. A paper neatly stacked is one less floating worry in your mind. The next morning, when you open your eyes, look at your room for a moment before touching your phone. They say the morning sets the tone for the whole day, and simply not being attacked by chaos in the first second gives you a much calmer start. Japanese minimalism doesn't ask you to be perfect. It simply asks softly, today can you create one small space for your soul? It could be a desk. It could be a corner of the room, and who knows? At the moment you return that last item to its place tonight, you may not just be tidying your living space, but also clearing the weather inside yourself. Reason 3, reducing cognitive load and decision fatigue. Have you ever been like this? You stand before an open wardrobe that feels like a chaotic menu, shirts bought on sale, pants a bit tight, but kept out of guilt. You flip through everything and still end up choosing the same familiar outfit. You haven't done anything, yet your mind already feels a little drained. Scientists at the Princeton Neuroscience Institute show that the more things sit in visual clutter, the more signals the brain must process. Add to that the countless tiny decisions throughout the day: what to wear, which cup to use, what to do first. And together, they create decision fatigue, the exhaustion that comes from having to choose too much. It's quiet, but enough to make the day feel heavier. In Japanese minimalism, people don't only declutter objects, they declutter choices. Many choose a few main color tones, a few easy-to-match styles. It's not a lack of aesthetics, it's saving mental energy for what matters more: work, family, and the small joys of daily life. A study on minimalist living shows that people who live with fewer possessions tend to be more focused and more satisfied. Not because they're magical, but because they return to the brain the mental bandwidth once occupied by unnecessary decisions. You can begin with something very specific. Simplify your everyday wardrobe. You don't need to throw things away in a rush. Just choose 5-7 outfits you truly like and that fit your current lifestyle. Hang them in the most visible spot like a mini capsule wardrobe. Store the rest out of sight. Try living 1 week with this simplified wardrobe. Each morning, instead of wavering, you choose from a few items already pre-filtered for you. You'll notice lighter mornings, fewer "which one should I pick" moments, and unexpectedly, more room in your mind to think about breakfast, call someone, or write a kinder email. The Japanese have a beautiful philosophy. Decide in advance so tomorrow has fewer choices. When you reduce your daily decisions, you don't make your life poorer. You enrich your attention and your presence. And maybe tonight, when you fold a few items that no longer serve you and close the wardrobe door, you'll hear a small, quiet space inside yourself. That quietness is exactly where the more important things begin to enter. Reason 4, enhancing neuroplasticity, rewiring the brain in a positive direction. At night, maybe you're like many people, lying in bed, thumb still scrolling on your phone, mind running everywhere. Tomorrow's tasks. Unreplied messages. The feeling of always being one step behind life. You fall asleep while your brain hasn't truly stopped spinning and wake up still feeling heavy. Science calls the brain's ability to change neuroplasticity. What you repeat every day, habits, emotions, becomes a neural pathway. If every night ends in clutter and overload, The brain becomes used to mild stress, used to never getting full rest. Japanese minimalism goes deeper than a tidy home. It creates small rituals that teach the brain that life can be slower, safer, and gentler. Like the Japanese tea ritual, just a few minutes, but enough to step out of the everyday whirl and open a new pathway. The pathway of stillness. Many studies on mindfulness show that just a few minutes of simple, fully present activity, washing dishes, folding clothes, tidying a table, helps the brain regions involved in emotional regulation function better. These tiny actions, when repeated with gentle attention, can quietly reprogram how you respond to the world. You can try a very simple minimalist ritual. 10 minutes before bed, turn off phone notifications, tidy a small area around you, the bedside table, a few items on a chair, or straighten your pillows and blanket. As you do it, breathe slowly. Inhale as you pick up an item, exhale as you place it back where it belongs. Not rushed, not trying to finish. When that little corner is neat, sit for a few seconds and notice. Is your breath deeper? Is your heart a bit softer? That very thin feeling is a new pathway beginning to form, the pathway of agency, of self-made calm. The Japanese believe every small action done with a full heart is a lesson for the soul. Each night you tidy a small corner, your brain learns that when you touch your belongings consciously, you are allowed to let go of worry. Over time, simply straightening your desk or putting away a few items automatically triggers the nervous system's calming mode. You don't need to understand neurons, just know this. The brain is always listening to you. It becomes what you repeat. And tonight, if you give yourself 5 minutes for a small ritual like this, tidying a very tiny corner, taking a few deep breaths, who knows, from that moment of stillness, a gentler version of you may already be starting to rewrite itself. Reason 5. Increasing self-agency and living true to your values. Do you have a corner like this in your home? A shelf full of unused gifts? A dress bought because it was on heavy sale, but just looking at it makes you sigh? A set of glasses saved for a special occasion, and the occasion still hasn't come. Each item is like a tiny reminder that you should be someone else. Psychology calls this living according to other people's shoulds. Every item carries an expectation, and each time we don't use it, we feel a little not good enough. Studies on simplified living show that when we intentionally let go of things that no longer fit, our sense of autonomy and satisfaction increases. Not because the house looks nicer, but because we begin living more in line with who we truly are. In Japanese minimalism, decluttering is like a ritual of asking yourself, what truly matters to me right now? The Japanese often look at an item and ask, does it still walk alongside the person I am today? If not, they thank it and let it go, gently, clearly, without guilt. You can try this with a very sensitive category of belongings, things that carry guilt. The gift shelf, the pile of unread books, the clothes you're waiting to lose weight for. Choose a small area, take a deep breath, and be honest. Is this item still me? Does it represent the life I want to live in the next few years? If the answer is no, that's not failure. That's the moment you reclaim your right to choose what you want to carry into the next chapter. You can give it away, sell it, or pass it on. Each item leaving your home is a layer of invisible pressure leaving your shoulders. Notice how, when you let go of something that once made you feel guilty, you suddenly feel a small lightness, like opening a window and letting cool air rush in. That feeling is self-agency. You've just chosen to live closer to your real self. With fewer items that speak with someone else's voice, you create room for what is truly yours. A reading corner you use every night. A tea set you genuinely love. A family photo you cherish. Your space begins to reflect the person you want to become, instead of the person you fear you're supposed to be. Minimalism, at its deepest level, is the courage to say no to what is no longer you, so you can say yes more fully to what you love. Maybe tonight, you choose 3 guilt-laden items to let go of. Very small steps. But those are 3 steps away from a life lived according to what people say, and closer to a life chosen by you. Reason 6. Nurturing deeper relationships. Have you ever had an evening like this? Everyone is home, but each person sits in a corner. Someone holding a phone, someone typing on a laptop, the kids glued to their screens. On the table, papers, food containers, a few unopened packages. The TV is on, but no one is really watching. The room is full of things, yet missing the moments where people truly touch each other's presence. Research shows that this clutter increases cortisol, making us more irritable, more tired, and less patient with our loved ones. When the mind is being pulled by a pile of unfinished tasks, it's hard to truly listen to anyone. The child's small stories, the quiet confessions of your partner, they slip away unnoticed. In Japanese minimalism, shared spaces are places that nurture connection. The dining table, the living room, no matter how small, are kept tidy so people can sit comfortably, look at each other, and naturally begin conversations. A clear tabletop, a few chairs close together, a teapot in the middle, simple, but enough to warm an entire evening. You can start with a small habit. Tidy one shared space. The dining table or a corner of the living room. It doesn't need to look like a magazine. It just needs to be easy to sit and not overwhelmed by objects. Clear the papers, put away the laptop, return stray items to where they belong. If you like, leave a vase of flowers, an Uno deck, or a few books, things that gently invite people to sit together. Then choose one evening in the week. Turn off the TV. Gather the phones in one place. Brew a pot of tea and sit around the newly freed table. Ask each other a few simple things. How was your day? Anything fun happened? What are you liking most these days? At first it may feel awkward, but let the space speak. A tidy room, soft light falling, familiar faces, all of it opens a door to connection that clutter had covered for too long. You'll notice something peaceful. When a room has less stuff, the air between people softens too. Fewer complaints like, "Who left this here?" or "Who forgot that?" More invitations like, "Want to play something? Tell me about your day." Minimalism, from this angle, isn't about living apart. It's about removing what stands between us. Less clutter on the table so there's room for a meal. Less noise so we can hear each other more clearly. Tonight, you can start very small. Tidy the dining table, even if you're eating alone. Wipe the surface, put away containers, fold the napkin, then sit down and eat slowly. Because who knows, starting from that small table, the relationships around you may find a chance to come a little closer. Reason 7, Wabi-Sabi and acceptance easing anxiety and strengthening resilience. Have you ever frantically cleaned the house just because guests were coming? Stuffing everything into a room, forcing a smile? My home is usually tidy. Then when the guests leave, you look at the pile behind the door and a small voice says, "Why can't I be like other people?" Not only the room, but your heart feels tangled. Social media makes the pressure for perfection even heavier. Everyone posts the prettiest corners of their homes, the most polished moments. It's easy to feel not enough. Psychology calls this perfectionism, the quiet force that feeds anxiety and self-blame. Wabi-Sabi, the Japanese aesthetic spirit, steps in and says, "It's okay. Beauty can come from the crooked, the chipped, an unevenly glazed cup, a wooden table with scratches." Instead of hiding them, the Japanese see them as part of the story. Beauty lies in authenticity, not perfection. Kintsugi, the art of mending broken ceramics with gold, goes even further. The cracks aren't hidden, they're highlighted. The break becomes a unique vein. Similarly, many therapists use this image to help people look at themselves. Wounds don't make you broken. If healed with kindness, they can become the most beautiful part of who you are. You can bring wabi-sabi into your life through very small things. Instead of demanding your home look perfect like pictures online, allow an unfinished corner. A scratched table can still be wiped clean. A slightly chipped cup full of memories can still be used every evening. Like a reminder, I too have chipped places, but I'm still worthy of being cherished. At night, while tidying, you can whisper, "Today this home is enough, and so am I." Many mindfulness studies show that gentle acceptance like this helps the nervous system relax, no longer chasing an impossible perfect version of life. You can also rewrite your own cracks, a failure, an unfinished relationship. But instead of blaming yourself, add the question, what did it teach me? That's how you sprinkle gold into the cracks of your memory, not erasing the past, but giving it new meaning. Minimalism, at its deepest level, is letting go of impossible expectations for yourself, allowing your home to have an imperfect corner, allowing your heart to have soft days, allowing life to remain a little unfinished. And maybe tonight, you choose one imperfect item you love and place it somewhere visible. As a gentle reminder, I am allowed to be imperfect and still worthy of a warm, simple, peaceful life. By now, perhaps you see, Japanese minimalism isn't a trend for aesthetics, but a way of living so each day feels a little lighter and closer to what you truly cherish. It doesn't ask you to live ascetically or throw everything away. It simply asks softly, where do you want to place your time, energy, and money? When you remove the noise, you begin to hear more clearly the small voice inside, the one that brings you peace, even in the most ordinary moments. Each time you tidy a corner, let go of an item, or say no to something that's no longer you, that is one small step away from a reactive life and closer to a life lived with intention. Little by little, you're rewriting the way you live. If this video has given you a moment of stillness or one small idea to try today, you can press like, so others searching for the same peace may also find this video. And if you'd like to continue this journey toward a simpler, deeper way of living, subscribe and turn on the bell. We'll meet again in the next videos, where each viewing is a chance to clear away a little more noise from life. Thank you for spending your time here. I wish that tonight, when you return to your familiar home, you notice there is now a tiny new space, reserved just for your own peace.